Hey guys, I'm Alex,
I'm Dylan.
and welcome back to what we've all been waiting for, the Super Bowl. We've seen our championship games last week more normal, the first seeds winning like usual. Now we have the big game, the Kansas City Chiefs versus the San Francisco 49ers. Who's going to win? We'll see.
I think we know, obviously, if you're going to watch my picks later on, we both know that last week I was right, Alex wasn't. So make sure to pay attention there at the end of the video when I'm talking. Let's look at the playoff picture currently. So for this playoff picture, it's pretty simple. It's going to be the easiest one we've done. You have Patrick Mahomes here,
We have Jimmy G here, San Francisco 49ers.
and they're going to fight it out for Super Bowl this year.
Alright guys, for the first play here, we have the 49ers versus the Packers in a championship game. Raheem Mostert having one of the biggest games of his life with 4 touchdowns. Here's his 4th one right here. It's going to be 2nd and 10. They're going to be lining up right here. Single back, they're going to give it to him, running to the left side. He's going to break the edge. He's going to truck a guy into the end zone scoring. The end of that score was 37-20. 49ers moving on.
So here we're going to see Patrick Mahomes do what he does best. On a 3rd and 6 for this game, the most crucial touchdown for the Kansas City Chiefs. As you see, he's going to drop back below his 30. He's going to scramble, and then he's going to eventually bomb this throw all the way to the other side of the field to Sammy Watkins, number 14. Who else? Former Buffalo Bills wide receiver, probably the most underrated wide receiver in the league, catches it to lead this game 35-24. Kansas City's on top. Now, let's see how our analysts did last week.
San Francisco. They're going to beat Green Bay handily.
I'm going to pick Green Bay to beat San Francisco in a nail-biter on the last-second field goal.
I'm going to stick with San Fran here. I think they can't be stopped.
And I confidently think that San Francisco will beat Green Bay.
I'm picking San Fran to go to the Super Bowl.
Kansas City's going to roll to the Super Bowl.
Take Kansas City over Tennessee, 33-24.
We got Tennessee at Kansas City. I'm going to go Tennessee here with the upset.
I even heard a student tell me that they're going to pick Tennessee to beat Kansas City. We know that's not going to happen.
There was no way that Tennessee wins against Kansas City.
You're not getting one up against Vrabel and his Steelers background on that defense. So
Now, onto our analyst picks for this week.
Mr. Minosky back. It's time for the Super Bowl. You know, we don't watch this game just to see the commercials and see how somebody will spend $10 million for a 30-second clip. We watch to see who wins. I'm not here to change my picks like other people. I told you 3-4 weeks ago the San Francisco would possibly make it, but Kansas City was your guaranteed winner. Last week, I think, or even 2 weeks ago, I said it'd be San Francisco versus KC. Kansas City's going to roll to the Super Bowl. Then they played the championship game, Kansas City versus San Francisco. Nothing's changed. The only thing that's going to change is some other teachers' picks. My pick stays the same, and that's your champion, Kansas City. They'll roll with it. Only bet what you want to win. The bookies have families too. Have a good time.
all right, so I have to admit I was wrong. I picked Tennessee to go to the dance. They didn't show up last week, so for the first time all playoffs, I missed the game. I'm going to take a dark horse pick here on Dallas. I like Dallas. I like what they're starting to do. So let's take a look at this week's matchups. You have Andy Reid, who you know what Andy makes me think of? Dan Marino. So take Dan Marino. Maybe arguably one of the best 3 quarterbacks of all time, but he can never win the big one. I'll take Andy Reid. He's one of the top coaches I've ever seen in my lifetime, but there's something about him. He just can't win the big game. Okay? So those two have very similar bios. They have very similar outlooks, and I think they have very similar results. Some things you just can't explain. Some people just can't win the big game. So now let's take a look at Kyle Shanahan. You have a guy who, as a young offensive coordinator for the Atlanta Falcons, went up against the New England Patriots, okay, in the Super Bowl, and they built a 28-3 lead. And look, he's the offensive coordinator. He went against Bill Belichick, the best defensive coordinator in the game, and scored 28 points to his 3, okay, in the first half. Now, did they lose the game? Yeah. Did Kyle Shanahan learn something? Absolutely. So we also learned something about Kyle Shanahan. Okay, he knows how to get a lead, and I think now he's gonna learn from his mistake and learn how to keep the lead. So my prediction: San Francisco 49ers 24, Chiefs 18.
What's up, football fanatics? Mr. Snyder here with Super Bowl prediction. Exciting championship weekend. We end up with the Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers. I got 1 and 2 right, and I'm going to stick with that team, and I'm going to pick the Chiefs to defeat the 49ers. I'm going to say 31-24. I think they're going to have it under control pretty much the whole way, but I think they're going to end up winning by a touchdown. Patrick Mahomes is just on fire, and one thing that concerns me is Kyle Shanahan's coaching ability. I think he's a tremendous coach, but in the end, I think Andy Reid is going to get what he deserves after a long, illustrious career to pick up a Super Bowl victory with boy Patrick Mahomes. So go Chiefs.
What's up, guys? Big Al here with the Super Bowl predictions. Last week didn't go so well for me. I wanted Tennessee. I had the underdog story going. That didn't happen. Let's get into my Super Bowl picks. So, in the Super Bowl, we got San Fran and Kansas City. Now, it's going to be a really close game. It's going to be really close. I'm going to go with San Fran, though. I think that defense is going to overpower Kansas City and that powerful offense. I think it's 49ers are going to get their 6th Super Bowl. I'm going to go with a score of 31-28. Kyle Shanahan's first year, Super Bowl champions.
I was ready for this week. Here we are. And I'd just like to say that I did go 2 and 2 last week, and Alex went 1 and 2 last week. After some calls, some talks with some of the people on the teams, the 49ers performed. Good thing I have connections with them. That's my team this year for sure. As I called them back in our first episode to go to the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots.
Personally, at this point in the season, I'm going to say probably the Super Bowl would look like a San Francisco-New England Super Bowl. Jimmy Garoppolo getting the W over his former teammate Tom Brady.
But let's just focus on the Super Bowl this week. First off, I'd like to say this Super Bowl is going to be the most entertaining Super Bowl in the past 10 years. This Super Bowl is one that doesn't include the New England Patriots and actually includes some good teams. Currently, we have a 1.5 point spread, which in these last 10 years, it's always been, oh, this team's gonna win or this team's gonna win. So, personally, I'm gonna be excited either way Sunday. I'm gonna have a good time watching the game, watching the commercials. But if you really wanna know who's gonna win, I got that for you. The San Francisco 49ers will win the Super Bowl. There is no way around it. There is no way that Kansas City will win. Kansas City is the strongest team in the AFC. I would have said that probably before they won the playoffs. I think that the Baltimore Ravens had some flaws. I think that Kansas City overall was the most consistent and well-rounded team in the AFC. And to be honest with you, I don't think, despite that they have as much hunger as the 49ers do. You have so many rookies, so many people that are young in this league on the 49ers that want this win more than Andy Reid, who's been in the league since I've been born. So I personally think that the score will end up being 27-23. The 49ers will be the Super Bowl champions this year. I'm calling it now.
All right, guys, this is the last you're going to hear from us before Super Bowl 54. Good luck if you're putting some bets on. Hopefully it's not too much. We know the Niners are going to win.
I agree. Defense wins championships. Have a safe weekend, everybody.